We are live. Hey, how about you, everybody? Welcome into the third episode of the Auburn Live on 3 recruiting call-in show. I am your host, Jeffrey Lee, senior recruiting editor for Auburn Live on 3. And I'm joined tonight by two of the guys who's going to help answer everyone's questions, throw some analysis in there. We've got Mr. Jhead in the top right. How you doing, Mr. Jhead?
Doing good, brother. Glad to be here.
Great.
Okay. 2 weeks in a row. Hopefully my mic works, my picture works. So looking forward to tonight's call-in show. Looking forward to see what everybody's got to say.
Excellent. Cole Pinkston, Auburn Live on 3 recruiting analyst. How you doing, big dog?
Doing awesome, man. Doing awesome. I got here a little late, but
like
made it for the live. So here we go.
You are jumping off the screen with energy.
Yeah.
And I need to go pull up the YouTube page. I should have had that up already. Anyways, guys, if you're just joining us this week, we want to make the show all about the subscribers, the listeners, answer all your questions, let you guys dictate the topics of conversation, and we will jump right into it tonight. If you're not a subscriber to Auburn Live on 3, you really should be, man, and you're missing out. We've got it all over on the site, about $8.33 a month. Cheaper than 2 gallons of gas, no doubt. No doubt. I'm working my way over to the comment section, man. Hey, Zach, you've got I wanted to give her a number out, man.
There it goes.
There you go. Okay. All right. I had to do that, man. I'm busy day. Anyways, give us a call, man. We're going to answer some questions in our comments page on the YouTube page, but we love to exchange pleasantries with our listeners as well as answer some questions. So give us a call 701, I should say. It's not a letter. 701-779-9585. 85 was was that Tiffin's kick?
I think so. I think that's Van Tiffin's kick. Not exactly sure, Jay Lee. Don't quote me on that. I'm not the historian here. That's for sure.
Well, I'm going to body slam that because that was the year Bo Jackson won the Heisman Trophy.
There you go. Yeah,
that was the 85.
That's what mattered.
Heisman.
That's what mattered more, right?
There you go. All right, here we go. All right, go War Eagle, jumping in there right off the bat. Go War Eagle wants a record prediction. Recruiting call-in show, but we do football as well, team stuff as well. Record prediction. I've been thinking about this, and so I've kind of wanted to touch on this, and we have in the past a little bit, but I've thought more and more about it. So Go War Eagle wants to know a record prediction for this year's team. What freshman will have most impact? I like Camden Brown. Go War Eagle. So do I. But I will start with Jhead. Jhead, have you been thinking about a record prediction? We went over the schedule. I don't remember if it was on the Shrivel Pod last week or if it was on the call-in show, but we went over the record, and that's probably triggered me to think more about it. What do you think? I know Vegas has Auburn at 6.5. Are you taking the over on that, Jhead?
Taking the over. I'm going 7-5 at 8-5 if you count the bowl game. That's where I'm at this year. Looking at that schedule, I feel like there's going to be a game we're going to drop in that first group. And that first 5, unfortunately. And then I think we're going to squeeze out 3 more wins throughout the season. I don't buy the hype on Arkansas. I just don't. I think we get them at home, and we're going to put them stuff them in the locker. I feel like we're going to get one of the Mississippi schools on the road. I think that's going to happen. So, and then obviously Western Kentucky would be your last game as far as that's concerned. So I'm going 7-5, 8-5 if you count a bowl game. That's where I'm at with it.
Cole, I'm going to say real quick. That's Jhead. That's exactly how I have it. 7-5 with an 8 bowl win. I really do. I think 8 wins. That's where I came across. Cole, you taking the over on 6.5? And Jhead and I are putting it at 7.5 and taking the over.
I am. I'm gonna go with 8 wins.
Whoa!
I'm going to step up from y'all.
Okay.
8 regular season wins.
8 regular season, and that's I think it's 7, somewhere between 7 and 8. I think y'all are about right there with my line of thinking. So, yeah, I'm going to go with 8 wins. I think Auburn steals one of those home games against one of those early home games against LSU and Penn State. They get one of them, I think. I'll go with Penn State. I say they get that one.
You know, I could see Auburn winning a game they weren't supposed to, but I could also see them losing a game they should have won. I think it kind of balances out. That's why I settled on 7 regular season wins.
Man, you know, the new trend right now I've heard is San Jose State could be an upset. Have y'all been hearing this?
Yes. Yeah.
Well, okay. They say it could be the next Georgia State kind of game, right? It's possible.
Sure. Tough, gritty team. I think they won 11 games 2 years back or something of that nature. I think they took a step back last year. But they're a team, and I think where a lot of this comes from is it's a team that's very familiar with what Harsin wants to do on offense and defense. So from playing each other in the Mountain West, schematically, they're not going to be that much different. So they're going to be well prepared on that front. Some veteran talent on that team could give Auburn some trouble if we're not prepared to go. I think a lot of people think, okay, you're going to be overlooking them going into the Penn State game. You're going to have a lot of apples in that basket. I don't see that. I think Harsin knows every win matters on this schedule this year, and I think we're going to be well prepared and to blow their ass out of the water, but that's just me. You know what I mean? That's kind of how I see that.
I'll tell you what, Jhead, listening to that podcast, for a guy that's supposedly on the hot seat, supposedly got all the pressure in the world on top of him, dude sounds pretty relaxed to me. I mean, he's got to feel better about his quarterback situation right now, I would think. So maybe that's the deal. I don't know. He just sounds like he's pretty relaxed to me.
I think it's the chemistry on staff, if I'm being completely honest. I think having his guys in the coordinator positions, another year with guys like Zach Etheridge, you brought in a guy like C-Rob that he seems to bond with very well, Jimmy Brumbaugh, handful of other guys that just seem to mesh with the identity and the culture of what Coach Harsin wants within that staff. And if you have that connectivity, that just breeds comfort, and that's important for this coaching staff to have success. So I think that's kind of what I think, with probably familiarity with the whole roster. I mean, the whole setup is so different. A year ago, he's coming into this situation, never been in the SEC, flying blind on recruiting, flying blind on what expectations from the Auburn fan base. Right. Now he's had a full year to kind of fully immerse himself into this. He understands what he's up against. He's got his guys in his back pocket that he's going to war with. So I think it just makes a more comfortable situation all the way around.
Yeah, that's probably
I agree. I like what I've seen at the athletic complex the few times I've been over there, just the general feel. I feel like it's a totally different vibe, as the kids would say, this year. Hey, what's going on over there? Anyways, so hey, Decatur Tiger 97, loyal listener, man. We appreciate you coming back. Derek, welcome, big dog. Triple J, welcome. First live performances. Russell Shoemake, how about you? Tuesdays are always good fun. We love you, Russell. Okay, here Jeremiah Cobb. This is one that I have been. JP wants to know Jeremiah Cobb, the running back from Montgomery, OV coming anytime soon. I think so. I thought so. He's being very. I think he wants to be the one that announces his visits.
Yeah.
I really think he's going to visit sometime in June. At least I think that's the hope, and that was kind of the plan. I mean, what was this, May? Back in April, I was working with him back and forth on when what his date was for his official visit. So I'm expecting it sometime in June. I think the reason we haven't heard anything about it is he's being a little stingy with the intel, and that's him. I mean, that's his prerogative.
It's very possible too that guys like Jeremiah Cobb, who can just make a 20-minute, 30-minute trip up to Auburn, aren't too worried about setting an OV right now. Same thing with Carmelo English. I mean, the dude, they've been there a bunch of times. They may be thinking about trying to expand, trying to get a good little trip out of an OV. So probably going on an OV to Auburn is not in the front of their mind right now, with it being the summer and all that.
And you also have to remember Big Cat Weekend's coming up at the end of July. You got to expect both of those cats to be there. Sure. Carmelo English right down the road, Jeremiah Cobb right down the other way, right down the interstate. So I would expect both of those guys, and I honestly believe they'll come back before then.
Yeah, I do too.
But Stephen Kerr, welcome. There's Tyler Justice. Look at here.
Hey.
Tyler.
Not on the phone.
she didn't want to call in again this week.
Hey.
Anubis 647. So Tamari Parker got his feelings hurt again. Might have dodged a bullet. I did a story on him back in early April, and he was just blown away by Jimmy Brumbaugh coming to his practice and just went on and on about how Auburn was back in it for him. And then I called him about a week or two ago, and I don't want to say anything bad about the kid, man. He must be getting a lot of attention, or he's paying a lot more attention to other schools because he's frustrated with Auburn that they only came to one of his practices, and the practice that they came to wasn't in full pads. I mean, he's got like a list of criteria that he expects, his expectations for these coaches, and Auburn apparently didn't meet it. So yes, Anubis, that's I feel like that's done. I really do. I feel like Jhead, I think you posted on the corner today. At some point, you got to cut your losses. Yep. You know what I mean?
Sure.
You got to say we're going to go spend our time elsewhere.
Right. I mean, listen, there's multiple other edge targets on the board that we can focus on as far as that's concerned. If TJ Parker is not feeling Auburn, then read the room, realize what you're stacked up against, and move on. Look, Rico Walker just got an offer. Fantastic athlete, fantastic player. I'd much rather spend my time investing in that recruitment than I would with TJ Parker fighting a losing battle. So
he's a legacy too.
Yeah, legacy recruit. Why not? Okay, there's Isaiah Nixon, and it's on the board. Obviously, Keldrick Falk's on the board. Multiple other defensive linemen and edge targets that we can focus on that are really good players. And this is not a slight on TJ Parker. He's a fantastic football player. Would love to have him. But I also want people that want to invest in Auburn. And if he's wanting to pay attention to negative recruiting that's being provided by Alabama with regard to the staff, or if he is feeling some of these other schools that are in his recruitment a little bit more, great. More power to you. Moving on. Going to find the next guy. That's just how I feel about it.
I do too. I do too. I feel like it's just been such a roller coaster with him. It's like I thought you said it best today on the corner, Jhead. Just it's time to move on. Both parties. Yeah, time to move on. Anubis has got another one here. Thoughts on Harson's new podcast, Cole? You're a big fan.
Yeah.
How do you think this affect recruiting? You think the recruits will get on there and be able to? What do you think about that?
Well, I mean, I would have said before, maybe not much, but now that it's number one on Apple, whatever sport, I mean, it's going to make some rounds, especially when episode 2 drops, because everybody's like, wow, let's hear some more from this. Is he going to keep it going? I mean, it's interesting, right? I don't know another head coach that does something like that. And that, if you're trying to, he sounded more comfortable than I expected, if I'm being honest. And that's not a shot at him or anything, but it's like he was it's like he's just laid back, just chilling, with his buddy Eric Keesaw, and they're just talking about how things went when they started coaching. And I think if a recruit stumbles across that, it would at least get their interest in him. Maybe not Auburn so much, but more so him. Hey, I would like to get to know that coach a little bit. He's pretty cool, and he's a head coach. That's awesome, So I think it's a great move, great PR move.
For the record, Josh Pate from 24/7 did a screenshot today on Twitter, and Brian Harson, Huddled with Hars, was the number one football podcast in the world, ahead of Colin Cowherd, ahead of Josh Pate, who's got a kick-ass show over there at 24/7 CBS. So, I mean, he must have had some listeners. You're talking national guys.
Not to mention, I mean, they have a lot of NFL ties, both of those guys. I mean, they've coached a lot of guys, recruited a lot of guys that are in the pros now, and they got.
You talking about Brian Harson and Eric Keesaw.
Yeah, Brian Harson and Eric Keesaw both have coached a lot of guys that are in the pros. They got to talking about Deshaun Jackson and Aaron Rodgers and how that came about, and how he played video. Eric Keesaw played video games in his house, and that's what won him over. And he's thought about that in every recruitment. I mean, that's great stuff, man. That's the kind of stuff that you want to know about your head coach that you never would know, right?
100%. I mean, I think the great thing about it is, and Jay Lee can probably talk about this more than I can, but back in the day, you guys used to be able to go into the football complex and strike up a conversation with the coaching staff. Just used to be able to go in there and talk to Terry Price or talk to Will Muschamp or, really get a feel for it. And you would hear stories like that, right?
Yeah.
That's what that podcast reminded me of, is just a coach having a conversation, a casual conversation, and being able to share his thoughts and philosophies and just some war stories. And it was really great because I think anytime you can give transparency into your program,
Sure. Yeah.
it creates buy-in for a fan base.
Right.
He badly needs buy-in all the way around. We need wins on the recruiting trail. We need wins recruiting our alumni. We need wins recruiting, our BOT.
Yeah.
I think it was a grand slam.
That's the world we're in now, right? You got to have the PR.
It's all about the PR. Stephen Kerr's definitely a fan. He said he listened to it today, and worth a listen. Big Pat, Cole. Remember Big Pat from Tailgate?
Yeah, Big Pat, man. We're going to stop by the tailgate because
absolutely
that's what we do.
Big Pat. Decatur 97 is jumping back in here. Any new intel on Charlie Jones from Iowa? And Decatur, I briefly touched on this today. Charlie, and even when I talked to him last week, he was like, "Look, dude, I want to keep this pretty quiet, my entire recruitment." And so he gave me some. He gave me enough to get a story, and he said, "I'm definitely interested in Auburn. I'll just leave it at that." And we talked some off the record, and I will say that I checked into Charlie Jones last night, and Auburn feels like they're in the top 2 with him. And I didn't get who the other school, which school was the other top 2, but Auburn feels like they're in the top 2 with him. He is a transfer wide receiver, return specialist from Iowa who has 1 year to play. Is that right?
Yes, 1 year to play.
He's a grad transfer.
Yeah.
He's got his COVID year to play. He's got prior relationship with Rock Bellantoni from their times at the Buffalo.
Yep.
So Decatur, my thing is next for me, as far as I'm concerned, is he going to visit? That's the next step. And if not, then we can move on. And if so, then you can, DEFCON 9 over here. I mean, you know what I mean? He's not coming down here. He's got 1 year left. And really, for a wide receiver, and Jason Caldwell and I were, and BMAT was talking about this Sunday, you talk about a wide receiver with only 1 year left to play. They kind of want to know who the quarterback's going to be, right?
Yep, 100%.
And so I think Auburn, to have a chance with a wide receiver like that, has got to get him on campus, has got to show him what they've got in the quarterback room and what their plans are for him and using him in any way possible, right? Getting the most out of him as they can.
Yes, definitely.
How about you, Big Blake? Trey Mack, any chance? Trey Mack says, any chance Auburn pursues DT Darrell Middleton? Saw you got a UGA offer. I'm not familiar with him.
He transfer portal guy from West Virginia.
Okay.
Yeah, no, haven't heard that name. It's possible. I mean, they wanted some help on the defensive front and got Morris Joseph to kind of round out the portal class besides grad transfers. But he's a 1 year guy, so they could still be looking to add depth there too. But haven't heard his name though yet.
Look, any 1 year, with them waiving the 25, any 1 year guy, I think the staff is interested in. If they can play, and obviously it was big getting Mojo, okay, but we can obviously use some more talent as far as that's concerned, especially if you're missing guys on the edge like we are. That gives you the ability to play more guys on the edge like a Kobe Wooden, and then you can slide a Middleton in there. So it provides you some depth if you have some extra defensive line guys in this class if we can't land another edge.
I'll tell you what, Jhead, don't mean to cut you off there. If they were to get Darrell Middleton, if they were to go after him, you've got Jeffrey Emba, Jason Jones, Darrell Middleton, and all those guys are 6'7" and well over 300.
Damn.
That would be crazy.
And who was the 3 technique that Auburn at the same time was recruiting Morris Joseph? And did he visit or he didn't visit? I think he
was he from West Virginia?
The junior college kid.
Yeah.
Taylor Lewis.
Yeah.
Committed
Taylor
to
Lewis. There you go. Oh, Lord. Okay. Good for him. F. Scott Fitzbeagle. Jhead had to know that he's audio is much better this week. I completely agree. I wonder what Scott Fitzbeagle did to you. He says F him. F. Scott Fitzbeagle. Oh, Brian Harson's back on the show tonight. Well, can confirm we have secured Charlie Jones. Thanks, Brian Harson. You heard it right here first, man.
Hey, all right.
Oh, Ben Cowley.
time to
Ben
celebrate.
Callie, how about you, Ben Callie? What's the balance like for focusing on the current class while still offering and recruiting the next classes that affect the takes in current classes? No, I wouldn't think so.
No, definitely not.
The balance, though, is getting ahead. I mean, I just posted before we came on the show, Auburn offering a Florida wide receiver who's just finished the 9th grade, class of 2025, wide receiver from Florida. Yeah. And another thing I did before the show is, and we can touch more on this on the Shrivel Pod Thursday, but Auburn's got a JUCO wide receiver coming in. He's a mid-year guy. He's coming in next week. His name is Samaj James.
Yep. Okay. Samaj. That's James backwards, by the way.
Damn, it is. Close.
I saw that. I was like, man, that's like a mirror image or something. It's crazy.
It's like race car.
Is it?
It is. Is it?
Yeah.
Let me write that down.
Here you go. I got the word for that. It's a palindrome. That's what
palindrome.
Yeah, there you go.
Nice,
I got a few things. I got a few things. You know,
you all right, Cole? You smarter than Jhead looks.
Well, thank God, right?
Easy, baby, easy.
Jhead, the pixelation the past few weeks were your friend.
Hey, look, I'm just taking it tonight.
Listen, last week Jessica said, "Why are you calling him cute and straight?" So I had to come back this week.
There you go. There you go.
My dominant heterosexuality.
Hey, look, man. Oh man, baby, oh man, I hear you.
Jireo, heard anything about Big Cat Weekend? Yeah, not much. Only that it's going to be that last weekend in July. Probably around 25, 30 guys. Probably going to have some underclassmen come in too, but mostly going to be top 2023 guys. Georgia, Alabama is probably going to be the main focus on these guys coming over for an unofficial visit. Be a big weekend right there. Oh, there's Corey Eber. Eber. The W is silent. He pronounces it Eber. I'm just messing with Corey. He is actually related to Chris from Michigan.
Yeah,
Chris
definitely.
Weber. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Spelled different, but definitely related.
A little bit uglier than Chris. All right. This is a good one. Stereotypical Auburn fan. I'll take this because I saw it today. KJ Evans, chances with Kwame Evans will be one of the biggest recruiting wins in Auburn basketball history if Bruce somehow pull it off. I mean, I feel like Bruce has pulled off biggest recruiting wins in Auburn basketball history each of the last 5 years. I know Wes Flanigan's working that hard. I think he was set to visit back in April. Not set to visit, but he had decided he was going to visit. So we're just kind of pulling out the dates, figuring out the dates when they're going to bring that in. As of last night, Auburn basketball didn't have any official visits locked in for the month of June, but Bay Fall, his buddy Asan, I think he's a 2024. Bay Fall's like a top 23 guy. Kwame Evans, top 2023 guy. So they're going to have some visits in June. Just haven't locked in the dates yet. That's going to be some news trickling out over the next few days. I'm definitely going to be on top of that. Kwame Evans is on my list of guys to track. Go ahead, Jhead. I'm sorry.
You want to be mind blown? I mean, absolutely mind blown. Go and look at the Mustafa Heron recruitment in Bruce's tenure, and you look, and we're setting a new high pretty much every other year as far as the Jeff Lebo and Tony Barber eras. I swear, Jeffrey, it's just a litany of no stars and 3 stars and JUCO prospects. And not
Kabotny Barber.
Yes, and Kabotny Barber, bless his soul. Frankie Tolbert with that one missing finger.
It's extra.
Oh yeah, Frank Tolbert, yeah.
And listen, Frankie's from my part of the country. You know what I mean? He's from Red Level, Alabama.
That's right.
So
is he really?
Oh yeah.
Wow, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, man.
But
the
only guy to ever come from Red Level, right?
Easily. Easily, man. But listen, it's completely and utterly amazing what Bruce has done with Auburn basketball in the transition from the end of the Lebo era. Tony Barbie was just a complete and utter just failure, and how he's transcended that program specifically on a recruiting standpoint. It's truly amazing.
Let's see. There was chance to call me. Dane, have y'all heard? Javon Baker. Dane Wickstrom wants to know about Javon Baker. Javon Baker is the Alabama transfer wide receiver who was going to Kentucky. Now he's not. The reason he's not going, Dane, is because of the eligibility, the 40, 60, 80 rule, the PTD, the progress toward degree rule. It's not just affecting Auburn.
Yeah, you mean it can happen elsewhere?
It absolutely can. People just don't know it.
Crazy.
So, no, I don't expect that. Russell wants to know how many commits by game one. I put the over under at we got 2 now. By when is the game one? September 3rd, 4th, something like that?
I went with 10. That was it.
Damn.
I think we're going to be at about 8 to 10. That's what I think.
I'll go 7. That's my over under 7.
All right. 5 more. Listen, if we were on the prices right, I'd say $1 right now.
Okay.
Yeah, right.
And I mean that could be 6 or 5. I was going to say 5 to start off. I think 3 before then, and we're talking 2023 class.
Yes, 2023 class, not transfers. I honestly believe we're going to bag 5 to 6 more guys by then.
Definitely possible.
And look, when you start running it down, I mean, you got a guy like Ian Jeffrard who I think could pop really at any time if we push.
Yeah.
You got a guy like Brock Glenn that's going to make a decision by the end of June.
Right.
Obviously, you've got the big defensive tackle from Atlanta that's making a decision in July.
Yeah, that's Josh Horton.
Josh Horton. All right. Then you got
who did I just talk to on Sunday? Oh, McElderry.
There you go.
Yeah. How about Connor
Who wants to have
Stroh?
a final decision?
Connor Stroh is going to go through his OVs and probably have a decision soon after.
Exactly. I think Connor Stroh said he was going to do his in July.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, you got a lot of guys coming in for OVs right now, and I don't remember there being that many last year.
And Jay Lee hit this last week on the podcast. Camp season always produces one commitment every year, guaranteed.
Yeah.
There will be somebody that we will kick over a rock on at that camp and find, and they'll jump on them. We had 2 last year. I expect us to have at least 1 this year. So I honestly believe we're going to get 5. Yeah.
You know what? You've probably talked me out of that $1 because of all the guys that are going to have those preseason. I mean, listen, commitments don't mean shit, right? These kids want to get their commitment done before the end of the season, and then they're going to move on to phase 2 of their recruitment, which is whether or not they're going to stay.
Yes.
But if you've got 12 guys that Auburn's in the top 2 to 3 for, and they're all announcing before this first game, and you think if you strike out on 3 of every 4 of those guys, you're still adding 3 to 4 commitments, right?
Yeah.
Correct.
So, and then plus the camp, I think 6 or 7. I'm okay with that. I'll go with that.
I agree.
And 2 more to watch. I think Hunter Osborne is definitely committing before the first game. I'm almost positive he's ending his recruitment in August. And then Keldrick Falk, I think, is going to take all of his OVs in June and then have a decision as well.
Yeah.
So multiple guys, like you said, Jay Lee, are going to be deciding. I would bet there are 10 to 12 guys we're in on. They're going to decide before that first game, guaranteed.
Trey Mack, hit us with that football question, Zach, from Trey Mack. And I'm going to hit it real quick. JP, your next question. I'm going to let you 2 guys answer this football question, but real quick. Tyree Young is he's coming to camp Friday. It's not an official visit. He's coming on an unofficial visit for camp. But anyways, Trey Mack coming back with if you could have one player from the 2020 and 2021 teams return for 2022, so you can go back 2 years, which they all pretty much came back, right? Who would you bring back? I know Jhead would bring back Bo Nix. Oh,
I'm gonna pass on that one.
Freshman.
The Ricochet Rabbit, guaranteed. I'm taking him all day long, specifically with our unknowns at the linebacker position. Love seeing Zacoby line up and just tee off on people, man. I think we could use a guy like him.
I'd love Zacoby.
2020.
Yep. Who you got, Cole?
Golly. I'm trying to think.
There's Roger McCreary.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, McCreary. Is there a good pass rusher I'm forgetting about from 2020? It was
unless you count Big Cat.
No,
I'm good on that.
Not counting. No, I would never count Big Cat.
Big Cat burned Cole's Bridge, man.
Yeah,
Big
you
Cat's
know what?
Big Cat's a Black Knight for life. He's a Black Knight for life.
He is. Oh,
Uh,
that's a good one, Jareo. Seth Williams.
Ooh, yeah, him and Schwartz.
I'd go
I
with
was
Seth
trying to
Williams
think
over
of the wide
Schwartz,
receiver.
honestly, because, man, talk about a safety net. I think, man, that's a good one. Seth
How
Williams.
much better would you feel about the team if you had Schwartz and Seth Williams on the outside with Charlie Jones running in the slot?
Yeah, sure. Yeah,
I probably feel
Seth
at least
Williams
1 or 2 wins better.
honestly, you know what? The new guy, the new offer, I wrote about him today, Keon Brown. And I haven't really watched his tape too much, but he's another big body receiver that they're going after. And they don't really, I mean, name a guy that they've had since Seth Williams that was like Seth Williams. Nobody close.
Camden Brown looks like Seth Williams on
Yeah.
tape. But he hasn't lined up yet. And here's the thing: the unfortunate thing is Camden wasn't here in the spring. So not having him being able to go through spring is going to set him back to a degree. How quickly can he pick it up? You honestly don't know. But if you're looking for prototypes on the outside of the X spot, that's Camden Brown, 100%.
Yeah, and that's definitely a good one. But they're still looking for more guys like that. Landon King maybe could be that guy too. So Seth Williams is probably the guy that they haven't had. That would be my pick. And I'm stealing it from Jareo there.
And you know what? I think that's what my expectations for Camden Brown are. I think I see Seth Williams in him. I think that's why I'm so high on him. I think he is an under the radar guy. And I really feel like I like his attitude, and I like his size. I like his athleticism. I think he's got great hands. And I saw him last year at camp. He was an MVP at the camp last year, so I have high expectations for him. But Seth Williams, that would be a good one. Let me hit real quick. Jamie Sherwood. One of my favorite recruiting stories, Jamie Sherwood coming to A-Day as a junior in high school, sitting up in the stands all by himself. I thought he was having the worst time of his life. He was just sitting up there by himself. I got a picture of him that day. Ended up he was up there just imagining being out there on that field, and I was totally wrong. Imagine that. AU Chaser, how do y'all feel about the staff's ability to close in recruiting? You know what, Chaser? I had an epiphany today when I was switching signed commitment list with
all the new
I was changing them to enroll. And I noticed, I told him today, I was like, Bruce, I got a call in show. I said, dinosaur time. But I noticed there were a lot of late commitments and signings to the December signing period this past class, including Anishi Sledge. We saw Robert Rogers flip. So my thoughts on their closing is probably a lot better or a lot higher than some folks. I think they did a fantastic job this last year. Was Jarquez Hunter a late addition closed there?
Yes.
The previous class, I believe, wasn't it? Or was
yes, he was in the 2021 class. It became down between us, Mississippi State, and Iowa in the February signing period.
But I do see what he's saying. I mean, Auburn's getting some damn people visit, right? I mean, shit, the visit list is impressive, and I'm telling you, man, that's the biggest thing to give yourself a chance is getting these guys on, especially at Auburn, especially with a new staff, especially in possibly a transition year with the toughest schedule in the country. So, I mean, getting them on visits is a big, big deal.
You know what? I see this argument a lot. The argument is for the guys that they closed on last season, right? At the end that you just talked about, JD Rim, Robert Woodyard,
Austin Osbury.
Guys they pulled at the end, right? My thing on that is, okay, a lot of people are saying, oh, well, they took advantage of staff changes, and yes, they did. You don't think that's going to happen every year? I mean, that's the main thing I would tell any recruit. Hey, there's going to be staff changes like every year. Like somebody's going to go somewhere. It's just like the transfer portal with coaches. They're going to go a different place. They're going to get a different job, move up, whatever the case may be. And the guy that's recruiting you may not be there next year. Happens every year. So if you're good at taking advantage of those staff changes, then you're a good closer. That's the way I see it.
And you have to take advantage of that. Can you imagine the attitude of some of the negative posters who, if Auburn didn't get those guys, and now they're saying, oh, man, they had staff changes and they still couldn't get these guys. Well, there were staff changes and they got them.
Yeah.
So STFU, you know what I mean? Thomas Jones, moving right along. Thomas Jones wants to know, with Wooten, Hall, Harris, Bad Moon, Jones, and Iku, I expect a top 10 overall defense national. What's y'all's opinion? Side note, Coach Rock gave Jason that new nickname. Jason Jones. Bad Moon. All right.
Bad Moon.
He's rising. He's rising.
Sweet.
Like Andre. What'd you say, Cole? What do you think about the defense? Both of you. I'll let y'all know more about that than I do.
Wooden, Hall, Harris. Yeah. Man, look, I think you can almost go 3 deep at every position and feel pretty good about it. Maybe besides the linebackers, you don't have any experience there, but you have guys that you feel would be pretty talented if you put them out there, right? And then you added, most of the transfer portal additions were on defense too. Craig McDonald, Morris Joseph, Jason Jones, DJ James, Eugene Asante.
Oh, yeah.
I think the defense is going to be okay. I really do.
I agree with you, Cole. I think my hesitation there is love the 2 deep. I think we're really competitive, specifically in the back end. I do have some questions as far as how some of our young guys are going to transition at linebacker. Not having Zacoby in the game last year, you could tell a difference. Do some of those guys take a step forward this year? I think the defensive line is going to be solid. Obviously, Echo and Derek Hall are going to be phenomenal coming off the edge. My major hang-up, Cole, is the offense. Is the offense going to put the defense in position to be successful? Can they keep them off the field? If they're going to have to log a ton of snaps and get worn out in the first half of the season, that's not going to set you up for success down the back half when you got to play Texas A&M, Alabama, a handful of other teams that can really annihilate you if you're not putting yourself in position to be successful. So can we play complementary football? If we can't, I don't have a high expectation for this year's defense, but on talent alone, yes, I think we're top half of the SEC 100%.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that.
This is a good one from Blake. I think this is Corey's fella, man friend. How much of a threat is TCU for Brock Glenn? Jhead, what do you think? Brock Glenn is coming in for an official visit on Friday. We expect him to commit soon. We think Auburn's the team to beat. He was at TCU a week ago on an official visit. I think you talked about this last week, Jhead, and you probably know more about it than I do, but I really never viewed TCU as a threat. Why should I respect TCU here?
I think TCU is a threat only because they have an excellent wide receiver class at this point. They're selling him on the opportunity to come in with a brand new staff. Sonny Dykes is a good offensive coach. I believe that who's the USC? Lincoln Riley's younger brother, Garrett Riley, is the offensive coordinator there at TCU. He's a really good up-and-comer. And they sold him on the opportunity to come in right away. Obviously, I think the family ties to Auburn, and he's going to try to take all that out of it. Okay, he's going to try to make a decision where he's looking at playing time and what's being around him and everything else. But I feel like the family ties to Auburn, the chance to play in the SEC at the highest level, it makes Auburn the favorite at this point. The team that scares me, if you're going to be completely honest, is if Texas A&M pulls the trigger and it's an Auburn versus Texas A&M battle. I think then therein lies the real battle. As of right now, I think Auburn bags him. And I don't really think it's all that close. If I'm being completely honest,
okay.
I don't see. I think TCU is a formidable opponent, but there's only because they had the first OV. They put their best case out there. Now we get the opportunity, like any good boxer, to counterpunch, and we'll see what we do.
Okay, right. That's good. Sticking with you, Jhead. Carrie Yang wants to know, is Jeffrey Imba an immediate impact?
Jeffrey, I think we got a caller.
We got a first caller. 205, you're live.
Hey, fellas, it's Russell. How y'all doing tonight?
What's up, Russell?
How you doing?
Doing good, man.
Doing well. Good listening to you guys again. Very informative. I heard y'all just talking about the defense and wanted to chime in and kind of see what you guys thought. with the depth and versatility that looks like Harson's brought in through the recruiting classes, for instance, like a Marcus Harris playing multiple positions, and Donovan Kaufman. We have so many different players like that. I think Jhead was just mentioning you don't want to get too worn out. So if we have the adequate depth to sustain the season and an offense that looks to be potentially better in year 2 of the conditioning and strength program that a lot of people have said is supposed to make a difference, especially in year 2. So coupled with that, helping out with our running game, could that possibly be leading to a little bit more successful season than people think, especially with the defense people are sleeping on. It's not like we haven't recruited well in defense every year. Basically, it seems to have taken precedence over offense for a while at Auburn. So I think that should probably at least carry us to the offense. Comes around and gels a little bit with the passing game, I would hope, because we have various receivers this year. Then again, very many different skills. But that was just one of my questions. I had one more after that, if you don't mind.
Good stuff, Russell. Jhead, what do you think?
So I think what you're seeing a lot right now from a lot of the national guys is they just want to see proof of concept. Okay, we didn't really move the needle on offense last year. They want to see us take that next step, and I don't think they want to invest. They don't really know Auburn. And so when you factor in everything that happened this past February and you look at how we tailed off towards the end of the season, that's what's driving a lot of this prediction for 6 wins, 5.5. What you've kind of seen prior to kind of our conversation today. I 100% believe we are better on paper and we are better in this program than a lot of people think we are. I honestly believe 7 to 8 victories is more than attainable as far as that's concerned. And yes, defensively, I think we can take a step forward, but it does beg the question is, can we take that step forward offensively? Do we have the right quarterback? I think we do, but we got to see it on the field first. You know what I mean? You can't say without a doubt Zach Calzada is going to be, or TJ or Robbie Ashford is going to be a slam dunk, top 3 type SEC quarterback. Got to see it on the field. So I think that's the hesitation that you're seeing a lot from the national media and the outside perspective of Auburn. But from inside the building, I think they believe they're ready to get this thing turned around. I honestly do.
Yeah. I'll add to that, Jhead, and say, I think the 5 win or 5.5, whatever the projection is coming from the turmoil that happened in the offseason with Harsin and the whole blow up that happened at Auburn, the drama. I really think it stems from that mostly because all the guys that transferred out of Auburn, I made this point last night in the Unfiltered Thoughts piece, Romello Heights, Sean Shivers, Amari Harvey, who never played a snap at Auburn, Lee Hunter, who never played a snap at Auburn. These guys are in the top 150, top 200 of the transfer portal rankings. If they're going to put them that high, they would have to think that Auburn's roster is pretty good because those guys didn't play. Right? Am I wrong there? I mean,
no. Yeah, there were only a handful of guys that transferred from Auburn that actually got legitimate snaps. I think J.J. Pegues was one.
Yeah, Pegues is a quality guy. And I'm not saying those other guys aren't quality guys. I think they could be really good. Amari Harvey was a 4-star. Lee Hunter was on the verge of being a 5-star. The point is these guys were way behind on the depth chart, and they're seen as quality pickups, right? If you get them from the portal.
Right.
So that would mean the roster they're coming from was pretty good, right? I mean, logically.
Logically, yes.
Okay.
That would make a ton of sense, Cole. And I like your thought process there as far as you're concerned, because I do think that people's value when they go into the portal is overinflated, 100%.
Yeah. Well, it's the shiny new thing right now, right?
Exactly. It's boring to talk about what's currently on your roster and who started last year and who your major contributors were.
That's true.
Look, in list season, you know what I mean? It's more fun to talk about the new shiny toy, like you said, the new prospect from the transfer portal. Maybe they can play, maybe they can't. Because realistically, you're having to adapt to a whole new culture and a whole new scheme wherever you're going to go. And who knows if that's going to accentuate your skill set or not. So
it's funny, too, when Auburn dropped that video last night or this morning, I can't remember, of the players coming back. The Auburn Twitter page, they dropped that video, all the players coming back. Not the new ones checking in, but the players coming back from their vacation. And I kept seeing guys like Colby Wooden. Oh, yeah, that guy's pretty good. Donovan Coffin. Oh, I forgot about him. You keep seeing guys who are like, oh, yeah, those guys are at Auburn right now. They're pretty good. So you forget about it with the whole transfer portal thing. You just forget about it. It's like in the back of your mind. And then when you get closer to the season, I see a lot of people doing it.
Position after the transfers.
What was that? I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. Sorry, I apologize. I was just saying it seems like we upgrade when we bring in transfers. I know there's a lot of good outgoing players, but if you look at it overall, even last year and this year, it looks like they've upgraded from the players that left. And nothing against the players that left, but bringing in like Jeffrey Emba, people like that replaced JJ Pegues, and getting Javaris Johnson back, Marquise Robinson. That was huge. To me, it just feels like they're not getting enough credit for what they're doing in the portal. They're not signing as many players as people would like, but the people that they are playing, they come in and they play. Eku Leota, people like that. They're making a significant difference. And on top of that, you're talking about people on the outside looking down on Auburn for what's happened in the offseason. It's understandable, but people close to the program, I feel like it could be similar to a Tuberville situation. I think I heard y'all mention that before in the show, but it just kind of feels like it from what the players are saying and coming together. And not to say that they're going to go on a undefeated season or anything. I mean, anything's possible. It'd be great to see, but the talent that's on the team already, and if you motivate them and they come together as a team and really buy in, like it sounds like they're doing from me as an Auburn fan, that's the extra factor that it's hard to want to bet on if you're a betting man, but it's how I feel it a little bit as an Auburn fan. I think they could exceed expectations this year. Just on that.
I agree.
Yeah, and I love your enthusiasm. I would say be cautious when people say it could be like a Tuberville situation. Think about what was in that backfield in that 2004 season with Carnell Williams, with Ronnie Brown, Jason Campbell. I mean, that's 3 first-round players right there. Carlos Rogers on the outside, a first-round cornerback. So all of your money positions, you had star football players. Then you had veterans across the board. They were well immersed in Tuberville's scheme and culture. Yep. So I'm with you on a cohesion standpoint. I think this group is going to be more. It's going to be closer. They're going to have more buy-in across the board throughout the team. But is the talent level where that 2004 team was? I don't think they are at this point.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Yeah, no.
Fair enough. Hey, Russell, good stuff, dude. Hey, we appreciate you calling, man.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. Y'all have a good one.
Appreciate you. I think he mentioned Emba there, Jhead, who wanted to know, Kerry wanted to know, you think he's an immediate impact guy on the D-line?
I think he can be. I think we would know more about where he is right now if he'd been able to go through spring fully healthy. Because of the shoulder injury, I think there's a little bit of unknown because he's only been playing football for like 3 years. Okay. Right. So there's a relative rawness to him, but he has an absolute freak show skill set. You don't see guys that can run like him, that have the power that he has, that has the COD that he's got. I mean, his change of direction is insane. I think Cole put up a clip where he was able to flip his hips. He was engaged with an offensive lineman, flip his hips, and run down the field and make a tackle 40 yards down the field. You don't do that.
He came from the opposite 3 technique, chased down a stretch play, outside zone on the other side of the field. It's ridiculous.
Right. I mean, running like a deer down the field. So, yes, I think he could be. How long does it take for him to acclimate to playing at the Power 5 level, and not just the Power 5 level, but the SEC? Is he ready from a physicality standpoint, technique standpoint, all the small things? But as far as skill level goes, yeah, he can play, man.
Well, it's kind of like he's kind of like the defensive version of Prince Tega Winogo when he came to Auburn. Raw, he showed a lot of good things, but it may take a minute for him to get acclimated to playing the position and doing all the things you're supposed to do. But the reason he was rated so high is because that his tape is just screams, freak athlete. I mean,
potential.
Gosh, yeah. I mean, the ceiling is just it couldn't be higher.
Mm-hmm. And that's why Landon Morris Joseph was important, because you have a guy that you've seen produce on the college level that can step in and give you snaps. If Emba's not ready, that creates that depth that you badly needed.
Yeah. I think Emba, it'd probably be fair to say that he is not an immediate impact guy because of his injury. I'd say he's more of a mid-year, second half impact guy.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I think that's where your expectations should lie with him. JP's coming in with defensive line and edge targets. We've talked about a couple of these guys. We know Jamal Jarrett's coming in this weekend. Jamal Jarrett's coming in this weekend. We talked about Hunter Osborne. TJ Parker's out. Edge guys on Isaiah Nixon. You mentioned a couple of those guys.
Rico Walker's
going to come back for an official visit. He was here a couple of weeks ago.
Keldrick Fall.
Keldrick Fall. That's the guy. He should be at the top of the board. I mean, and Quay Russell should be at the top of the board. James Smith should be at the top of the board. They should always be in the conversation. We're talking about defensive line and edge targets. Those are your, I would say, Quay Russell, Keldrick Fall, top 2 edge.
And you got
Rico Walker.
Yep.
And I really feel like Auburn's got a damn good shot with every one of those guys.
Ruben Bain
is coming out for another visit.
Maybe Ashley Williams could still be in there too. Hadn't heard as much about him.
Got in on him when he was a nobody.
Yep.
Ashley Williams I think he's now a 4-star edge from Louisiana. He was, I don't even know if he was ranked when Auburn offered him. I remember when Auburn offered him, I looked him up and was like, who the hell is this guy?
No, he even asked me, he's like, man, how do I get a ranking on here?
So a lot of and shit, man, I'm telling you, Jimmy Brumbaugh has come in and lit this defensive line recruiting up. I thought there was going to be a drop off when Nick Geeson left. No, sir. I'm seeing a step up with Jimmy Brumbaugh.
I agree, because you got what Jamal Jarrett this weekend, Sadir Mitchell's coming in, Hunter Osborne's coming in,
Sadir
Joshua Horton's coming in. Those are 4 of your top guys on the actual interior defensive line that we're recruiting.
Yeah.
Multiple other prospects I think will be in for a visit. I don't know all the names right now off the top of my head, but those are the 4 that jump out at me for the interior defensive line positions.
I have high expectations for those 2 positions in this class. Anubis wants to know, is the Hurley Saga over before it really began? We talked about this last week. We feel like Auburn's got a very good shot. He's going to Alabama this weekend for an official visit, but I feel like Auburn's working behind the scenes here. And as I said a week ago, I don't know if it was on the Sherwood Pod or the Collins show, but the less you hear about Jaleel Hurley, who's a 5-star cornerback from Florence, committed to Alabama, the less you hear about him, Auburn fans, probably the better. Stop asking. No, I'm just kidding.
So quit asking.
Yeah, so quit asking.
Hey, if it was a saga, I would not feel so good about it. But the fact that it is quiet right now is probably, like Jeffrey's saying, is probably a good thing. It's going to drag out anyway, so don't.
Yeah, just chill out. Let it run its course, man. Zach, I thought I saw you pop in here. I didn't know if you had another caller or not.
They hung up.
Oh my God! Trace that call. Trace it. Star 69. Appreciate you, Russell. Let's see. Kerry's coming back on here. He better be the one calling. Kerry Yang.
Hey, get him in here.
Well, Coach Harsin, you ought to know that.
Yeah, there's a chance.
They're back. We got it.
All right, let me hear Kerry Yang.
Hey. 612, you're live.
Mississippi?
Yeah, that's a chance. They're back. We got it. All right, let me hear Kerry Yang.
Hey, I just had a question for Jhead.
Go for it, brother.
Turn your computer down. You got a little lag going there.
First of all, who do we have on the line?
Oh, I was wondering. I didn't catch your. Were you talking about the quarterbacks? I didn't hear you earlier.
Who are you?
What's going on with the quarterback situation in Auburn?
All right, who are you?
Were you talking about the quarterbacks? I
Dude.
didn't hear you earlier.
Who are you?
Talking to the phone. You don't listen to the stream.
Yeah, you're way behind.
Hit mute on your computer, big dog. Man, I think this is a prank call. Hey, thank you, big dog.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Listen, if you can figure out a way to call back in and just turn your radio off, turn your phone off, whatever you got, whatever you're streaming it on.
The background.
We'll be glad to answer your question, brother.
But I think he was asking about the quarterbacks.
Okay.
Jhead, that he was aiming it at you. Quarterbacks, man. Hey, we were talking about Brock Glenn earlier, and I was thinking, man, if you get Brock Glenn, you got Holden Gerner, you got the transfers that come in, dude. That quarterback room's going to be looking good. Yeah. It already kind of does, right, Jhead?
It's going to be looking very good. And the way I kind of see this playing out, I think I was going to make a post on this, but I'll just go ahead and put it out here tonight. a little bit of scoop for you guys. What I think is going to happen, just my personal opinion, is that Zach Calzada is going to be named the starter. Robbie Ashford's going to be number 2. TJ is going to be number 3. I think TJ will probably grad transfer after this season is over. And you'll be looking at a nice 4 deep of Zach Calzada, Robbie Ashford, Holden Gerner, and Brock Glenn. And that's going to be as good a quarterback room as we've had at Auburn in a very long time.
Absolutely.
Zach, what you got, man?
Let's see. 205, you're live.
Who do we have on the line?
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, man. Who what's your name?
This is T-Dub Beham.
T-Dub.
Oh, yeah, T-Dub.
From Beham.
What's up, boys? Y'all
What's
good?
up, brother? Yeah, man. What about you, brother?
Doing well. Hey, I don't know if I have the right question to ask, but I was doing like some looking, and because with the previous staff's classes, it always felt like they had better like rankings and all that kind of stuff than what it seems like we might have with Carson's tenure. And going back through, I thought it was kind of interesting. So like their highest rated class, at least in the conference, was actually in 2018. And so when you go back through, you've got Joey Gatewood, Matthew Hill, Connis Miller, Harold Joyner. Those were the top 4 guys in the class, and
I knew you were going there.
It kind of seemed like when you go back through, they got a lot of highly rated guys, and a ton of them didn't pan out. And I know the meme thing is easy with Harsin and the evaluations and that kind of stuff, but when you go back through this last class they signed, you look at all the guys. I mean, even like the Powell Gordons. I think he's got a huge upside after he has a lot of time in the weight room.
Mm-hmm.
The Jay Fairs of the class, the Camden Brown guys that seem like they're going to be, Wooden's little brother, guys that are going to come in, and I think they're going to play. Like they're going to be contributors. And I just kind of wondered what y'all's thoughts were kind of on the inside as far as like, again, I know everybody kind of makes fun of the whole evaluation thing, but it does seem like this staff has an ability to find guys that fit, and I don't want to say culture, but fit what they're looking for, and guys that are actually going to be able to like come in and compete regardless of what their ratings are. I don't have a specific question, but I just kind of wanted to open that up and just kind of see what you guys think about that.
That's fantastic, T-Dub. Very good stuff. You know what I'm going to be paying attention to moving forward, and I don't think there's been anyone so far. Has any Harsin recruit, signee, enrollee, player, what's the I expect the attrition rate to be extremely low.
It's two so far. If you count Drayshawn Miller.
Well, and Hal Presley.
Yeah, but he was kind of
He was a Gus, wasn't he?
He was kind of Gus's guy, and then they signed him. And
I won't count Hal Presley. Drayshawn Miller,
Roe Torrance is the other one.
I knew there was those transfer cornerbacks, but okay, I'll even go deeper. Let's holler back in 2 years at the number of high school kids that Brian Harsin signed that have left the program.
Yeah, I'm curious about that too.
That's what they're recruiting.
No, you bring up a great point, T-Dub, and one that I've been wanting to make. That 2018 class, Joey Gatewood is one of the first names you see, right? When you're looking at down the list of the highest rated guys, Harold Joyner, you named them. That was before the transfer portal age somewhat, right? But there was so much turnover on every class. If you go back and look at all of them, okay, he signed a top 10, top 15 class, but he was losing half of them every year. I mean, what's the point? You got to keep your class together. That's number one, I would think, before you start looking at the ranking. That's just what I think on that. I mean, I'll die on that hill, I guess.
I think what we all want to see, T-Dub, is development, because you had these highly rated classes in the Gus era, and you just didn't get probably the return on investment that you wanted. On the flip side, Brian Harsin, and I'm going to steal a line from Dabo here, at little old Boise State, developed 15 NFL draft picks during his tenure there at Boise State. By comparison at Auburn, I'm not exactly sure what the number is, but I think it was only 20-plus guys got drafted in the Gus Malzahn era.
Jeez, are you serious?
a little over 20 plus, maybe 24, 25 guys.
Damn.
Yeah, that's about right.
How many offensive linemen? 3?
Greg Robinson and Braden Smith, I think.
Tega
Tega.
and
Yeah.
Jack Driscoll.
Yeah, man. Can we count Driscoll? Because we really got him from,
Yeah,
UMass for 2 years. But anyway.
Massachusetts got him right.
Yeah, I digress. But listen, I think what we all want to see is that we're evaluating at positions of need better, that we're bringing in guys that fit our system. And not only fit our system, but are the systems that we're employing developing guys for the NFL. And I think that's what you're seeing here at Auburn now with the transition that Harson's made specifically on offense. On defense, I think Kevin Steele did a fantastic job of developing guys for the league. But on offense, we have pro-style concepts and a system in place so that if you do hit and you are evaluating correctly and you're putting guys in the league, that's going to start to help your recruiting as far as that's concerned. So I think I want to buy in right now. I need to see it on the field first, because this is his first real class of recruiting as far as that goes. How do some of these guys project? Does a guy like Jay Fair really pop this year? Is there Austin Osbury, the cornerback from South Georgia? Do those guys get on the field and make an impact early? That's what you hope to see. You don't really know just yet, so I think it's too early to tell.
Huh. I cheated and moved on down the page and was told by Dane Wigstrom there was an article that said Charlie Jones committed to Purdue. I looked that up.
That's what I thought.
It was from he's not in public. He's not going to tell anybody. He's just going to show up. And it says this is a Saturday tradition from one day ago. So it's been out there for 24 hours. Iowa veteran wide receiver to reportedly transfer within the Big Ten. That line, but that's weird.
And I mentioned Purdue on the last show we did with Jeff Brahms, that offense that he's generated up there. I think he had a lot of ties to that team, specifically the quarterback. I believe they're from the same hometown there in Illinois. So that makes a lot of sense. It's unfortunate on our end because we could have used a Charlie Jones, but it is what it is.
Yeah,
whatever.
that makes sense. They're gonna aerate it out too. So,
oh yeah, Brahms is going to throw the football for sure.
Yeah.
Thanks for the heads up there, Dane.
We got back-to-back callers now.
Oh,
334, you're live.
Thanks for the heads up there, Dane. We got back-to-back.
oh.
Hey, caller.
334.
Okay.
Hey, caller.
So
I hear y'all talking, about the recruiting classes and how we got to, it's got to be developed, and you're doing all this, you're searching and finding. I'm just wondering personally,
That's a deep thought.
You're wondering what?
Dramatic effect.
Is it going to pan out at all, or is this just going to be another, special where we blow it completely?
Yeah.
I don't. What's the question?
Are we going to job her or not? I think is what the question was.
Well.
And
Let's
he hung up.
recruit, or are we going to win football? That's what the question is.
Okay.
Hey, man, hold on. First of all, who is this?
That's what I wanted to hear. There we go.
Okay. Dude. All right. Is that you good?
I'm Alan's little brother. So
Adam. He's got to wait till he hears it on his.
I'm the other A-head. So.
Oh,
hey.
Yeah. Wow. Hey, what's up, man? So, first of all, when you call in, got to say this is Andrew. Secondly, are we going to win, or is this just all going to be, whatever? It's TBD, bro. I don't know what to tell you, man.
Forget that. We'll win. Holy shit. We should have known Jhead was behind that.
Prank call, baby.
Ball. Sorry.
Big dog.
I didn't know what to ask at this point. I was like, Jesus.
That was awesome. That was awesome. Please do that every week. All right. Zach, is there another?
Yes, we got another one.
All right.
251, you're live.
North Alabama.
This is Fears the Cat, 227.
Felix the cat.
Felix, what's up, Felix?
The QB order. Are we actually letting what's the third one? The third string, the not the third string. He's
Robbie Ashford. Is that who you're talking about?
Is that?
You're talking about Robbie Ashford?
Yes, Ashford. Do you think he's going to be number 2 and Calzada be 1? Because I don't think I mean nothing taken away from Finley. I mean, if we're going to get the same thing we got from last year, I mean, I know he probably improved a little bit or something like that, but I just don't think he has the strength that Calzada does, and the way that number 2 or the other guy, the one just came in, the one you said, I just don't think he has the same effect as the other guy has. Finley just doesn't. The way I've seen the spring on YouTube, I just don't think I've seen anything different from last year. I mean, a lot of us fans seen the same thing. I mean, I hate it. I really do. I mean, I think he's going to miss the cut. I really don't. What do y'all think?
I think you're onto something, Felix. I think Jhead said it earlier, and I completely agree. Yeah. He's got Calzada and Ashford 1 and 2, and TJ providing an experienced number 3 on the chart, and possibly for the best for both him and Auburn, finding him somewhere that he can play next year. Probably a level down, in my opinion. But I feel pretty good about Auburn's those 2 guys.
Yeah.
And I have more.
Future, the gentleman that Harlan handpicked. Now I've seen the highlights on him.
Oh, I love him.
Dude, I mean, I do believe that, like I said, Harlan went and picked him out, and he's great. I mean, even this young man that's coming in named Auburn.
Possibly coming in.
Yeah, possibly, for sure.
Both of those guys, man, Holden Gerner and Brock Glenn, Auburn Brock Glenn, to me, I'm excited about those 2 guys in the future. And hell, I mean, the future is that Calzada's what, a sophomore? Robbie Ashford's a sophomore?
Freshman.
Do you think Calzada leaves after this year, or does he stay one more year? I mean,
I think he's a multi-year starter.
He knocked out a game breaker this year, and does he leave or does he stay for one more? I mean,
well, I'm assuming that he's going to have a good year. I'm assuming he's going to have a good year. And if he has a good year, he's cemented in as the starter at Auburn University. Hell no, he ain't leaving. He's going to start again.
He may be talking about pro, Jeffrey. I think he's eligible to go pro if he has that good of a year.
Oh, is he a Daniel Cobb, like 35 years old, sophomore?
Yeah.
Hey, no offense. I was a 25-year-old senior, so.
Yeah, I think he's just eligible. If he has a big year, he could go, and it's possible, I guess. But
Isn't he like 6'1"?
No, he's 6'4".
Damn.
Luke Calzada? Yeah. He's got some Brett Favre to him, man.
Okay.
Well, the one more question, guys, and I'll let you be. The defense. Everybody's kind of. I mean, they're on like one side or the other. I mean, I from what I see and what I've seen coming in, everybody's like, it's a couple of just a couple of new ones, and what we got from last year is what we had from last year, and nothing special or nothing like that. I just don't believe that. I don't. We got this guy coming from Memphis. I call him Memphis because this dude is huge, and he looks like he's in charge, and he's ready to be a game buster. I mean, really and truly. And this other guy, what's that French guy?
Jeffrey Imba.
I think he's a JUCO first rank or something like that.
Yeah,
number 1.
No, he's a big boy as well. I mean, we got some pretty tough young men out there. I just feel like I feel like the defense for me, they look like they're going to be studs, man. I really think you're going to have another Auburn type defense like we usually have back in the past. Maybe not the best like we used to have, but it's close to it. I mean, sure. pretty close to it. I mean, I wouldn't say they're like losers. I mean, not by far, not from what I see. Just what do y'all think? What's y'all's take on that?
I think they're top half in the SEC. Yeah. I don't think anybody would argue with that, would they?
No. think the defensive line is added the depth necessary, and they're really strong at the top. And then I think the secondary could be really strong, or could possibly be the strength of the defense. Actually, with Craig McDonald, you add him. I think Zion Puckett is an underrated guy.
Craig McDonald, yes.
I really like DJ James. I think he's possibly a star in the making. And then Jalen Simpson, Nehemiah Pritchett. I've seen Nehemiah Pritchett's name on a few draft boards. So, man, yeah, the only spot I'm worried about is inside linebacker. And I like Papo. I think he's capable of being excellent, but he hasn't been dominant yet.
He hasn't been the 5-star guy we were expecting.
Yeah, he's been good, but he's about to be, Zacoby McClain's not there anymore. Somebody's got to be that guy that is all over the field, that can make tackles, that fight off blocks and play against the run. And I'm still waiting to see if he can be the complete guy. So.
And to me, I'm with you, Cole, specifically at linebacker. I think we've got talent in that room. I really do. I mean, I like a lot of those guys. Desmond Tisdale. I'm trying to think of the other Mike linebacker that we got out of the Atlanta area.
Not Cam Riley.
No.
It was not Camden Brown. Derek's brother.
Oh, that was Cameron Brown.
Brown.
God, what's the kid's name? Wesley Snyder.
Oh,
Steiner,
yeah.
So Steiner, Tisdale. I mean, I think Riley's going to get more snaps at edge to kind of help compensate us for our depth. But to me, the even bigger piece is the nose tackle position. And can Jason Jones be that transcendent piece there? Because if he can two-gap and take up two blockers at one time and let our Mike linebacker run downhill, that's going to be Owen Papo's best friend, man. That's what's going to allow that defense to go from good to really, really good.
Yeah,
so
you know what? I'm tired of us not talking about Joko Willis. I like Joko Willis.
I love him on special teams, that's for sure, man.
Sure.
And I think he's another guy.
Be an edge rusher too.
Yeah, I think that's where he's going to slot in, if I'm being honest, Cole. I think you're going to see him come off the edge, specifically in third down packages.
Yeah.
Hey, let's hit a lightning round right now. Felix, I appreciate the call, man.
Yes.
That was good stuff. You and T-Dub, man, and Russell, you guys had some really good stuff.
Yeah.
Has Flanigan pulled out of the draft? I don't know.
I don't think he has yet, but I think it's
Officially,
a formality.
no. Yeah. Officially, I don't think anything's been announced. But he's got until what, midnight tonight?
I think so, yes.
That ought to be out. Justin Hoganson will definitely be on top of that news on Auburn Live on 3. Let's hit some lightning rounds here. Jairo, this is a good question, and I'm gonna give him my opinion on this. Jairo asked us to a 2:30 kick for the Penn State game, which is going to be Auburn's biggest home game of the year, affect recruiting versus the night game? And no, it does not. I used to think the night games were best until I started realizing that kids couldn't come to that night game. Find a hotel, because it gets over at midnight now, right? I mean, you ain't driving back at 3-4 o'clock in the morning. So this 2:30 kick opens up a lot of opportunities for recruits to come in, be able to experience the night game, and then get home before midnight. I used to think so, Jareo. I used to think so, man. But that 2:30, man, with Penn State, dude, there's the intensity in that crowd. I don't know that it's going to be even a drop from a night. And by that time, it's getting dark about 6:30.
Yeah, it'll still be like 7 probably.
I don't. So no, I don't think it will. I don't think it will hinder Auburn at all. As opposed to
it's gonna be a little warm, Jay Lee.
Yeah,
that'd be great for those Yankees coming down, man. They won't know how to
right.
deal with it.
From a recruiting standpoint, I'm with you, Jay Lee. I think it is phenomenal. I think it plays out even better. And like you said, if we beat Penn State, Toomer's Corner is going to be absolutely on fire. Great place to take recruits after a victory.
That's a good question by Trey Mack there, Jhead.
What's he got?
Do you think Auburn is still battling their negative perception for receivers?
100%. I think probably you had two of your most talented guys in the last, at least 5 years or so, in Seth Williams and Anthony Schwartz, and the highest draft pick out of those two was a third-round draft pick in Schwartz.
Yeah.
We need to develop a receiver and put him in the first round. Alabama's had probably, 10? You know what I mean, in the last several drafts.
Yeah.
So I think moving to the offense that we're transitioning to, if quarterback play will be where we need it to be, you're going to start to see development on that aspect, and we'll get our way out of having to evaluate guys and really being on some blue chip 4-star, high 5-star wide receivers.
Yeah, and I don't real quick. I don't think the type of offense, the style of offense, is going to just make every receiver in the world go, yeah, I really want to play in that offense. But it's going to be good for getting guys that fit the system, and that's what you have to remember on that. And there's going to be some guys like Carmelo English is one right now. He's a highly rated guy. There's going to be guys like that, but every 5-star receiver, I just don't see it for the offense.
They develop receivers at Boise. I mean, I'm trying to think. You know what I mean? They 100% develop receivers and put them in the league from Boise, and I'll have some more on that on the next podcast.
Yeah.
Johnny Kimbrough wants to know what happened to Zeke Walker. I don't know what happened to him.
I think he has a breakout year.
Yeah. We didn't mention him earlier. I think that's what he's asking, Johnny. Yeah. Is that right? Yeah.
Oh, we didn't mention him. Okay.
We're big fans of Zeke. I am. Yeah. I'm a huge fan of Zeke Walker. Have been since he showed up.
I'm just waiting on him to. I really think this is his year right here. I've written that. I've said that a few times. I think this is his year to break out and have a big one.
Yeah, I think he's going to be the number one backup behind both Marcus Harris and Kobe Wooden. I think he's going to get a ton of snaps this year as a rotational piece and has a chance to be a really good starter next year.
Yeah. JP, this is for 2024 for Prentice Nolan. Intel, shit, man. Let me tell you, Auburn. That's another good reason why Auburn's hitting that Langston Hughes hard this year. They've got Joshua Horton. They've got Jelani Thurman, both coming in for official visits Friday week. Terrence Love's already committed. Prentice Nolan is the 4 or 5-star quarterback in 2024. So getting those guys on board, I still think it's going to be tough. He's gotten so much national attention. I mean, this kid can go anywhere he wants to go. But Auburn's certainly going to be in the mix there on his recruitment.
Yeah, it might be interesting just if they get Brock Glenn, who knows? It could shake things up a little bit. We'll see what happens.
Hey, who was that? Sammy, we appreciate you, man. Sammy says great content, fellas. Let's move on. Did the needle move? This is a good one right here, Cam. Did the needle move for the big old lineman from Anniston? Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, absolutely. I talked to Raquez McKeldery. Always be McElderry to me. Talked to him Sunday when he left. Got to talk to his family a little bit, and this dude was blown away. And not only did he say the right things in the story, but his mannerisms, he was so genuine. His body language and everything pointed towards a flip. It really does. Now, don't get me wrong. He's got to go to Georgia in 2 weeks, but I thought it was pretty telling that he said, my parents or my mom. They're already saying War Eagle. My little brother who was running around beating up on the Auburn staff there. I mean, he's like 4 or 5 years old, running around throwing blows. He didn't want to leave. They had a blast. He was the only official visitor on campus. Dude, they pulled out the entire staff. I mean, it was full red carpet treatment for Rock West, and I absolutely think they moved the needle on him and his recruitment. I think it's okay. I'm not really worried about Jim going to Georgia. I think that needle might have moved and it ain't coming back. So we'll see. Anyways, all right, JP, which game do you think is going to be the major recruit visit game? Penn State, no doubt.
Penn State.
Yeah, no doubt.
Penn State and LSU.
Yeah, not having the Iron Bowl kind of sucks, for Auburn with recruiting.
When is the LSU game?
I think it's going to be at night. I think the early intel is it's going to be at night. So I think those are going to be your big games. You're going to be LSU.
Is that in October?
Yes.
It's
first weekend of October.
Weekend, yeah.
Okay, so you've got Penn State early in the season and Penn State LSU right after the middle.
2 weeks after Penn State, I believe.
And listen, you're going to want to get as many kids on campus as quickly as possible, just in case, right?
Oh,
sure, yeah.
How many wins does Auburn need to take the heat off of Harsin? 7 to 8.
7 to 8.
Anything less than that, he might be in trouble. And I don't mean trouble as in fire. The fans will. It's not good enough.
No.
There will be heat. There will be heat if he goes 6-6 this year. There will be heat. All right, let's see what we've got here. 750. All right, we'll hit. Let's lighten around. Will Auburn lose the O-line next year from this year? Jhead, Cole, what do y'all think? Absolutely.
Yeah.
All of them.
It's 6 guys, and that came out in the story that you guys just wrote on Rockwest. where they were showing him like, hey, these guys are going to absolutely be gone next year. We're going to have, we're losing 6 guys to graduation. We have this many spots open. So, yes, I mean, you're looking at, I think the only person that's eligible to return that's going to be in the starting 5 is Keandre Jones, and everybody else is set to graduate.
Zaire.
And I think Zaire may be able to return.
I don't know if they're even counting on him to come back. They think he's possibly a pro guy. I mean, they think he could be that guy. So, not 100% counting on him to come back, but he could come back.
Okay.
I think that's going to catch us up, man. Felix, great call tonight. Great questions. JP, great questions. T-Dub, great questions. Russell, we appreciate y'all. We appreciate all the listeners. We want to say we're going to have a Shrivel Pod on Thursday. Our podcast is going to be on Thursday afternoon. Lots to talk about that we didn't really get to. We got the 5 official visitors coming in here this weekend. Jaden Osbury, Keon Brown on 4-star wide receiver, Jamal Jarrett and Jaffrard and Brock Glenn. We got the JUCO guy coming in. All the signees from the 2022 class are in except for Keontae Scott, who's expected a little later. So a lot to go into a little bit more detailed on Thursday. And if you came into this show a little late and you think you might have heard missed a question or something, you can go back, I think, immediately after we get off of here and rewatch this show and listen to it. But we certainly appreciate everybody, man. We love doing this, and we're glad we can incorporate you guys into the show. Check out Auburn Live on 3. Certainly check out the Shrivel Pod coming up on Thursday. For Jhead, for Cole, Zach, we appreciate you, big dog. Been fantastic, man. We really appreciate you.
Yep.
Zach McInnell, also known as McKinnell. But anyway, check us out on Thursday, man. And in the meantime, stay out of the left lane. See you.